All right, welcome back. This is a part two of splitting the engine case on a 2015 Kawasaki Teryx T4 783cc engine. We talked about in the previous part all the bolts and whatnot needed to take off. I do want to point out something. I was having a whole lot of trouble. This is the timing chain side of the engine, and this area here is actually your shift linkage housing. And let me show you. This is what it looks like on the outside of the motor. Now, what was holding me up was a shift linkage gear that bolts in place. You see a little hollow made in it. There's a peg on the inside there on that piece on the inside of the motor past the bearing. Anyway, that bolt screws into that hole in there, and that kind of holds it. was holding everything in place, making it impossible to get out. There's also, as I talked about in the previous video, I believe, once you pull this housing, there is also a engine bolt, an 8mm, that goes in that hole as well. So that was really tricky. I'm gonna set the camera back up, and I believe the housing will separate now, no problem. But like I say, it's real important to try to you have to get every bolt loose, but even after you got the housing split, or what you think can split, I had probably a 1/4 inch gap still in it. Hopefully I didn't damage anything prying on it heavily. But I took the shift linkage housing cover back off and just decided to remove that gear with that 10mm bolt in the center of it. And as soon as I pulled that off, the housing kind of shifted and dropped another 1/4 inch, and I believe it's ready to come out. And I was talking about earlier, if you can see that timing chain gear on the end of the crank, it will go past that bearing. Just be careful as you're sliding the cover off not to damage your bearing in here. So I'm gonna set the phone back up, see if we can actually get this housing out of there. And like that, there she is. That's your oil pump that you're looking at there, kind of the yellow plasticky looking thing. So that's it. That is the housing. We've tore this motor completely down. There's multiple videos. If you'll look on there, please like and subscribe for me. So this is it. So your bevel gear, that's the driven gear there, and on the inside we've shown you before, that's the bevel gear. The bearing that actually holds that gear in place is kind of wore out, has some slack in it, causing the machine to make a lot of noise and whine in forward and reverse, which ultimately, if you're not careful, you can actually destroy that bearing, and you could tear up your engine housing. So anyway, that's it. Probably post a few more videos of replacing the gear itself. I'll have to probably shim it, check for clearance between the bevel gear here and the ring gear, which is located on the end of your shaft. That's the ring gear here. Bunch of parts. But that's it there. All right. Y'all like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.